Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 34th Insight View series session, which is our fortnightly IP for all members and non-members of the Advertising Club of Madras and everyone who's interested in gaining knowledge. We bring to you the best of speakers from across the country and outside on topics that matter most today for all of us. So, while before I introduce Rushabh to you, just to let you all know, we have a lot of programs planned in the city. We had Mr. The managing partner of Enormous, Ashish Khazanchi, who had come in last week for ad talks, and we're going to have Joji Jacob coming in the month of February for ad talks. There are a lot of other activities. Brandon Brew, which is our pub monthly pub session. We have sports coming in. So a lot more activities planned for each of you to be part of the community, to meet and understand each other and see how we can improve our knowledge through this, right? So our core pillars being to inspire, educate, and engage. This is what the Advertising Club Madras stands for, and we will try to deliver that on behalf of all of you. Right. So, on that note, thank you so much, Rushabh, for taking the time out today. And let me introduce you to the audience.
Sure.
Russhabh Thakkar is the founder and CEO of Frodoh World, an experiential content creation platform. Recognizing the immense potential in the intersection of technology and user experience, Rushab founded Frodoh World in 2020 to bring groundbreaking breaking ideas to life. As the founder and CEO of Frodoh World, he leads a dynamic team dedicated to revolutionizing the way consumers experience and interact with technology. Armed with a master's degree in business management from Mumbai Educational Trust, Rushabh started his career at Isobar, where he diligently navigated numerous campaigns for diverse brands. Prior to founding Frodoh World, he co-founded an advertising technology company, Dialstar Digital. Rushabh is also a member of the Internet and Mobile Association of India, actively contributing to conversations shaping the country's digital future. Under his entrepreneurship, Frodo World is making waves in the connected TV advertising space, seamlessly integrating interactive and engaging digital ads. With an aim to contribute meaningfully to the evolving digital advertising landscape, Rishabh's vision for the company aligns with a bullish outlook on the CTV space in India. His commitment to innovation and adaptability positions the company as a trendsetter in harnessing the potential of CTV, ensuring that Frodo World remains at the forefront of industry advancements. Rishabh's experiences, both as an agency professional and a founder, have shaped Frodo World into a company that is dynamic and seeks constant innovation. The foray into the CTV space in India is not just a strategic move, but a belief in the potential of the market. Rishabh aims to contribute meaningfully to the evolving digital advertising landscape, one that prioritizes viewer experience and industry growth over grandiose claims. So thank you, Rishabh, for taking the time out to share knowledge with our folks. Over to you.
Thank you, Suraj. Um, Thanks for introducing me to the team and giving me this opportunity. What I'll do is in this session, have a very insightful conversation around connected TV and TV. I believe most of our audiences will know TV, of course, right? Now, we all grew up watching TV, right? I guess the earliest memories that we would have with all of us, and I'm also guessing there are millennials and Gen Zs in this audience, is that we started watching TV with family, right? It is the way that we watch TV in a co-viewing environment, slightly more laid back, coming back from school, and then always remembering our favorite content back then, basically, right? Which would be our favorite cartoon or some show that we may tune into at a certain time, rush home to watch the content or that cartoon at the designated time, basically, right? And that's how the entire journey started. Like for some, it'll be great cartoons, for some, it'll be great um, movies or the film stars that we would play VCRs, the favorite films, right? So, what we also saw during content is ads, right? So, if everyone remembers, I'm sure everyone remembers the Surya Vansham movie that used to come on Star Gold, right? And that movie also used to have a lot of ads in between, right? Every content that would play would have ads. And eventually, then we also started having a ticker, right? That ticker would have, if there are 59 seconds left to get back to the content, or 2 minutes left back to the content. You know why that was brought in? That was brought in to bring in more tolerance towards ads, so that the user knows that, okay, hey, I have 2 minutes of ads left. Maybe I can go to the kitchen and do something quickly, or maybe I can catch up on content on the phone, or something like that, right? But what we now realize is that 30 minutes of content would have actual 22 minutes and 8 minutes of ads, right? So there would be ad breaks in between. From moving to content that we used to watch at our specific designated time to then watching it whenever, basically, right? That's how we've evolved. Uh, so everyone has experienced TV, but connected TV experience, I feel, would have happened to people when Fire Sticks came in. Okay. This was the 2016-17 era when Amazon launched Fire Sticks, and watching YouTube on the larger TV was a luxury, right? That's when we got introduced to Prime Video. Then a lot of OTT started coming in. I'll also cover the OTT part, basically, right? So watching content on the larger screen became very fascinating, because that was watching YouTube on the larger screen when we wanted to tune into content, or us watching Prime Video, basically, right? Which would have a lot of new shows, which would have Friends at our hours, which would have Two and a Half Men at our hours, basically, right? And so what it actually did was just power the TV to the internet. So anything that powers the TV to the internet is a connected TV. Initially, all our TVs were connected via set-top boxes, right? I'm guessing most of the households also have set-top boxes today, which helps them watch content on OTTs or also on YouTube. But these are the new age set-top boxes, right? In between, there was a time when there were just smart TVs that were sold. So smart TV started selling from 2019 to 20 till now, right? Every TV sold today is a smart TV, basically, right? So now when we walk into a Chroma store or a Vijay Sales store, thinking that, okay, hey, I'm gonna need a setup box to power the TV, gone are the days, right? We can watch content without having a setup box, and I'm guessing most of the people are watching it without any setup box today, right? Now I'll get into the specifics of the numbers. I'll give you all the data around it, but what I want to capture here is the essence of how the journey evolved from TV to CTV, right? Now, beyond that, we used to watch content on YouTube. Now, everyone should know this, that YouTube is a platform where content creators earn money through ads. Right? We've seen ads in between. Every content creator gets paid for his content, right? Like Samir Raina had this show called The Late Night Show, which had the largest subscriptions because it wanted to have content without any ad breaks. But there's Tanmay's show, which would have a lot of ad breaks in between, basically, right? Even though there is sponsored content on that, right? So advertisers get the opportunity to show their content in between these content creators, right? But content creators like Sony, Z, Star also had their content initially only on YouTube. But slowly, what they realize is that, hey, the revenue share that we've got to give with or part with YouTube is quite high. Why don't we own our own content? Why don't we create our own over the top platform? So that's when a lot of content got taken out, and OTT platforms created their own content. So Disney Hotstar came in, Voot came in with MTV content, Viacom 18 content. There was Sony Live that soon came in, Z5 came in, right? But I'm wanting to give you an example of a campaign that we did for CTV. Now, this will be something very technical, but you've got to imagine that, hey, if in Madras or if in Tamil Nadu, we want to reach all CTV households, every household in CTV, and say these households are just 2.7 million households. Okay. They're not just watching Hotstar and Z5. There's something beautiful, which is a regional OTT, which is taking precedence as well, or dominance. It's called Sun Next, right? So in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, there is an OTT called AHA. Even Sun Next is consumed a lot in Karnataka, right? There's Manorama Max in Kerala. In Gujarat, it's not just JioHotstar Z5, like I said. There's a OTT platform called Jojo. There's Shimaru, right? There's Dangal, Pitara, Chopal. In the east of India, where is Kolkata, there is Hoi Choi. So now there is so many OTTs, and we call them the regional long tail, right? So eventually, what has happened is the channels that we used to have on our set-top boxes, they've quietly but smartly turned into OTTs on our CTVs today, right? So it's just ease of content that is being watched or is being consumed at our disposal and at our time. And when we feel that, okay, we've got the time to consume this now. So initially, linear TV spikes used to be, say, from the time 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. That is when adults would come back home. Everyone would sit together, have a meal, and then catch up on content. But the highest spike on connected TV is on Friday. It's from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. because mostly all of us have a 5-day week, and we're coming back home. And the week has been so hard that we've not got time to catch up on content. So we're binge watching maybe Shark Tank or a show of our choice, or just streaming through YouTube, right? So that's a time when a lot of millennials, Gen Zs are catching up on content. So CTV is just empowering that, right? What CTV also did is there was a brief moment where on mobile we used to consume cricket, we used to consume football, or any sport that we would like, or even F1 for that matter, right? But then we started spending time with friends at their homes, or in restaurants, in bars, or just at our homes, right? With family. So CTV brought the entire living room experience back again, basically, right? And if you see, we've been very forgiving towards CTV or TV just in general for ads, because we've grown up watching content with ads on TV. So watching an ad on CTV is just going to be the same experience, but on a slightly better device with a much better HD, 4K, UHD quality, basically, right? Now, advertisers have been buying ads between content. So you would have seen Kapil Sharma having the highest gross GRP ratings, but the ads are also expensive there, basically, right? Because it's been consumed by family audiences. So a lot of FMCG products would like to show their ads then, or a lot of brands who are launching their products or are in the festive period at that time would want to show their ads then, basically, right? So what we've done around here is, just because there are so many ad formats, there is so much diversity of content, planning becomes very difficult. Now I hope whatever I've said until now is being registered, and I'm setting the context right. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that if I were to give you an option to choose between four ice cream flavors, okay, say maybe vanilla, chocolate, butterscotch, and strawberry. Suraj, if I were to ask you to choose one, would you've chosen your ice cream,
Yes.
right? And if I add two more flavors to it, if I add, say, maybe a mint milk chocolate, or I'm just giving an example of Bellagio or something, which is a Belgium hot chocolate, something like that. Okay. Now you've chosen the flavor. But
Yeah.
what if I give you 24 flavors? Would you be able to choose the same at the same speed? No,
No.
right? So I guess our content consumption has also become somewhat like that, right? We open up Netflix, there's just so much there. We rarely find something interesting because there's just so much.
Choice paralysis.
Correct. Correct. So imagine what would an advertiser feel, right? Which medium, which content? How do I address this? So the beauty of this is that we could always do targeting on mobile or targeting on YouTube, right? That kind of targeting wasn't possible on linear TV back then. There was only spots that we could buy between content and between sports. So what we did as Frodo, this being my second startup, is that we created a very humble but a thought starter planning tool, which is an AI planning tool. Now, obviously, I will demo it to the entire audience here. What we also did is reports were just coming in as Excel formats. Okay. As to what would an advertiser get is how many times the ads is loaded and how many times has it been seen fully. These were the only two metrics that an advertiser would get. Right. What we've done is we've tried to give a lot more analysis to that also by breaking down simple but effective parameters. Right. Now, what I will take the audience through is I will share my screen and Suraj, let me know if my screen is visible. For a brief few minutes, it will be blurred, but it'll get better in a minute. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, we can see your Frodo dashboard, I think.
Perfect.
No, now it's
So,
it's it's not there. At least for me, it's not there.
okay, I'll try and share my screen again.
Yeah,
Is it there now?
yes, yes,
It's back? Okay.
yes.
So, what we're going to do is this is our planning tool. Now, we're going to take the audience here through a brief that a brand would give us. Okay. Now, say this is a brief. Now, the brief reads that Teddy Bar bathing bar. Okay. Teddy Bar is a brand product by Torrent Pharma. So, Torrent Pharma is an advertiser that has created this bathing soap. Now, the audience here can Google Teddy Bar, basically, right? It's a gentle baby bathing bar formulated for daily use. Now, since this is also slightly more expensive, it will appeal to a affluent audience, right? Uh, Usually, what an advertiser does is it gives a budget. It says when it wants to run a campaign, and also says when the campaign live date is going through go through. Beyond that, it gives us the location also where it's supposed to run and a basic targeting as to who it wants to reach out to. Okay. So what we do is that we just analyze the brief here. Now, the reason I'm doing this, Suraj, is for the audience to understand not just the growth of CTV, but actually how planning is done. Okay. So then they can get into the minds of advertisers, right? Now, what this is doing is it's picking up all the information we've already fed it. Okay. So it's selecting the regions, it's selecting the date range, and it's selecting the start date and date, basically, right? Now we push continue. Now, what the platform is now doing, it's taking the locations that we fed it and it's going to give us an optimum reach curve, right? As to how many people can I effectively reach with a budget of 30 lakhs. Now, just give it a few seconds. Yeah. Now, the reach map is ready here. Now, what it is saying is at a budget of 30 lakhs, if you were to aim to drive a frequency of 5, now frequency of 5 is how many times an ad is being seen. Okay. So it can be seen 5 times a day or 5 times in an hour or 5 times in a week. Okay. Now, what we've done here is since this is a sustenance campaign where they want overall presence, we've selected 5 as a frequency of the entire campaign. So 5 times to a household. Okay. So with this, it's going to be able to reach 1.8 million households in these cities. Right. Now, this is a reach curve where we can sort of toy around. If we increase the budget, say we can reach around 2.4 million audiences. So what this essentially does is gives us an effective way for us to reach the audience at what price exactly, right? Now, usually when we also plan campaigns, the single biggest hurdle or thoughts that we start with is who do we want to show these ads to? So what we go after our cohorts, right? Whether there's some new mothers in metro areas, or health conscious moms, or working moms seeking convenience, experienced mom with toddlers, or first time parents. Now, if you see this, it's automatically showing us the audiences that would resonate with our content or the audience's content, right? Now, either we select this or we deselect this. So maybe we select all. And now this is the interesting part. What it is showing is that how many inches of the TV we should show this ad to. So should we go 40 inches and above, 43 inches and above? Is something that the platform is suggesting. Also, it is suggesting the value of the TV. So if we walk into a store and if we want to buy a 55-inch TV, it will come either for 50,000 or for 80,000, depending on the brand. But it also showcases the affluency of a household, right? Because what you've experienced is that in a household, if there are three people, three phones would cost maybe a lakh, but a TV would cost 50,000, right? So it's just a way for us to also determine the affluency. Now, it is also showing what kind of channels I should go after. Maybe I should pick Disney Hotstar or Z5, YouTube on TV. We want to select some regional platforms, or we want to do mini TV. These are the platforms that are being suggested, basically, right? So what this does for advertisers is just give an overview as to how your campaign should get planned. So this is the innovation that we've brought in planning. This is just a way for us to understand how CTV planning works, right? So what we spoke about initially was how the transition of CTV happened from TV. Now, if I have to tell you about linear TV, uh, it took us almost 40 years to reach 200 million households in India today. These are 20 crore households that have TV in India, right? But the CTV growth was unparalleled because from 2020, smart TV started selling, and by 2025, we have 50 million CTV households in India today. Okay, so that's almost 5 crore people, right? Now, these are substitutes only, maybe because we want to change our TV into a better TV. Because habit consumption has become in a way where we are changing our phone every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So why not our TV? Basically, right? It's the single biggest way for every family to watch content. One second, guys. Yeah. Uh, CTV also helps advertisers reach transactional audiences. Now, every advertiser wants to reach out to people that can spend money or that can buy the product, right? Now, what I want to educate the audience here with is that the people who are paying taxes, or people who are buying products, or people who are making a purchase, or people who are influencing or driving the economy, the India world one is just 60 million households. 6 crore people drive the economy for 135 crores. Okay. And I said the CTV growth is 5 crores. Okay. 50 million today. So we would say that, okay, say there are 500 million to 600 million smartphone users in India. Not every user is a transacting audience. But on CTV, every user that we reach out to is a transacting audience, right? Because what it does is, for a CTV, the basic thing that you need to have is internet, right? So if you have internet, you've made a transaction. For you to start watching content on CTV, you need to have at least one subscription. So if you've had one subscription, you're also maybe a GPay user or a UPI user. You may also be a GST taxpayer or a SME MSME owner, or maybe a person who is doing a very good job somewhere, right? So CTV enables advertisers reach audiences that are transactional. Now, what I will also do is, the beauty of CTV is, I'll reshare my screen, and Suraj, you can let me know if my screen is visible again.
Yes, it is.
what we'll do is we'll open up a reporting tool. Now, what this reporting tool will do is for a campaign that is being planned. Now, say this is a campaign which is being planned for Spotify. Okay, Spotify as a campaign wants to reach out to the same audiences that we planned maybe on our campaign. Okay. Now, what CTV does is it gives us a frequency count. Okay, it tells us, okay, how many planned videos, how many delivered planned videos, how many planned impressions, how many delivered planned impressions. Now, this is something that we've created just to give advertisers a quick sense of reality every 15 minutes, right? What we need to establish is what time of the day is the ad being served, what day of the week is actually working for me, or what time of the hour is really moving the needle. Right now it's 4:30, that's why it's showing 4:15. What is the video completed rate? When you start seeing an ad, how many times were you able to see it fully? Or which publisher? Maybe it's Geo Hotstar or Z5 or MX Player. Which one is moving the needle for you? Or maybe what region is working for you, right? All of these things help us understand the audience better. And the best way for us to segment where the ads are actually running is because it tells us what's the in size of the TV, whether it's a Samsung, whether it's a Sony, if it's an LG TV, or if it's an Impex, or if it's higher, OnePlus, Sharp, etc. And also what device value. So all of these inferences is something that Frodo's done to just empower brands to understand the in-depth analysis of a campaign, right? So this is more or less how we are innovating in the CTV space. And I don't want to feed the audience with a lot of information unless I get some questions that I feel will be valid for me to answer. So I'll just take a 5-minute break for questions and understand if the audience is resonating with what I'm saying.
Thanks for that, Rishabh. We have, in fact, today, it shows 41 participants here on the group, but we have Mepco Schlenk. I can see all of them through their camera. It's close to about 100 students over there, if I'm not wrong, or more. So in total, about 150 people, I guess, uh, should be on this video call. We have one question which has come to us from Jagdish, which says, "Hi, would need more details with programmatic advertising related CTV campaign structure."
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, you can also come on camera or, even ask the question yourself if you're comfortable with it. But I will repeat the question. It says, "Hi, would need more details with programmatic advertising related CTV campaign structure."
Okay. Okay, so I'll answer that. So basically, programmatic, there are two ways to buy programmatic advertising, right? One is the demand side platform, which is a DSP. One is a supply side platform. Now, activation can happen from both ends, basically, right? The supply side platform onboards the inventory for OTTs or for a new phenomenon which is called fast. Now, fast is a phenomenon which is, say, maybe you would have experienced Samsung TV Plus or LG TV Plus on your TVs, which is just watching linear TV content for free. And fast is called free ad supported TV, right? Now, we also consume content on which we've got to see ads, maybe. That is AVOD content. Okay, so that's advertiser video on demand. But there is some content which is completely SVOD, right? Now, SVOD content is subscription video on demand, where we pay to watch content, where we still maybe have to see ads. Okay. So, depending on the kind of OTT, depending on the kind of integration that it has with the demand side platform, we are able to activate CTV campaigns on programmatic. Now, this is a very question which is on a larger macro level. Now, if anyone has more in depth questions, I can maybe answer it
Sure.
better.
So we have from Government Art College Trichy, uh, we have Purani ma'am who's asked, conventional advertising textbooks tell us that advertisers target specific programs to reach out to their target audience. How does it work for CTV? How do the advertisers know who is watching what And how do they target specific audience?
So this is also in the same way where what we can do is target just Formula One as a audience, right? Now, Formula One as an audience is very hard to reach, but people will switch on the TV, right? So what we can do is that TVs give us the first screen to advertise the moment you switch on. So if you're watching practice days, race days, or qualifying days, you can show the ad exactly at the time the Formula One race is going to go live. Or you can buy content in between Shark Tank, but just associating with Shark Tank. Or just buying content during cricket matches, live matches. Or just during budget now, which is going to be day after, right? By buying L bands. So TV right now was a way for us to see that in content we were watching ads, right? CTV is just a transition. What we can also do here is just smartly buy it via time bands as to okay, bazaar hours during business uh, advertisers can buy during 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this can be only across say maybe English as a genre. So there are ways for us to reach out to the right audience by planning and targeting them effectively. I hope I've answered that.
All right. And we have another question from Adit. Is the
Yeah.
TV size a real indicator of affluence of households?
In a lot of ways, yes. Because if someone's got a 75-inch and above, the living room is going to be a lot bigger, right? Maybe in metro cities, someone would be okay with a 43-inch or a 55-inch because the viewing size and the space only allows for that kind of TV. But if there is a larger living space, maybe in a Jaipur household, there's a 75-inch and above, or there's an 85-inch and above. So if you're paying a slight bigger premium, I wouldn't say just the size, but I would also say the value also depends on deciding the affluency of a household. Yeah.
Right. Right. So, I mean, I would like to add to that question, which is on Frodo, it shows, different inches. And I think based on that, the audience, profiling is done. Is it because this is a option on Frodo, or is most CTV advertising done in this format?
Most CTV advertising is doesn't done in this format. What we've just done is that we added the device size, we added the device value slightly at the start of the game because we wanted advertisers to spend their money wisely because that's what programmatic and the new age advertising is supposed to do. What we can also do is just device level targeting. So if you
Right.
feel that okay, there is a certain OEM that is affluent, then you can just target that OEM.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we're bringing in more and more innovation to that. So initially,
Understood.
it just started with device size because
Uh-huh.
we would get the model numbers when the ads were getting served. But eventually, we realized that okay, value also is of prime importance because not just the size will help. Yeah.
That's right. We have a question from Jaidev. What is the scope of AI integrating with CTV that will enhance personalized content delivery and get more precise advertising?
Yeah. So AI is really working data management platforms, and I would urge everyone to Google IOTA, Lotame, Detonics, Origent. What these DMP platforms do is recognize through probabilistic signals as to which household consumes what kind of content, or if there is automated content recognition, which is available through OEMs. Now, if these words are slightly more jargony, to simplify it, what I would say is that AI is just telling us that, okay, maybe this household resonates with music, resonates with GEC, or is completely sports heavy, right? So it does help us to understand a household better and us also help to target the person and target planning also efficiently. Like right now, we've got planning efficiency through AI, but soon we are also implementing it on the execution part. So
Hmm.
to answer, yeah, it does help.
Right. Just another query that I had, Rishabh, which is many a times in every household, even if you're subscribed to, say, for example, Netflix, right? There are multiple profiles that you might end up creating, say one for the father, one for the mother, or one for the child. but eventually you might end up watching it on one particular profile. How do you still segment advertising or advertisements to the varied audience, which is, a woman versus a child versus a father?
So I would say logins work on mobile more than anything else,
Huh.
because there you can determine uh, demo targeting.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, TV has been co-viewing, so
Yeah.
demo is always inferred. And when I say inferred, it is just by the content it's being consumed. So maybe GEC is a way to reach out to women in the household,
Hmm.
or a certain time band is better for a female to be exposed to your ad, or kids content is better. Maybe if you want to have a product which is speaking to the mother and the kid.
Right.
So inferences need to be drawn in that fashion, because mostly what we've seen is that, okay, if a male is logged in, how do you reach out to the female? That's only and only the way via content.
And it's preferably more precise on mobile.
Absolutely. Mobile does give you a lot of sharper targeting, but
Okay.
CTV gives you a co-viewing household viewing experience. Plus,
Hmm.
the phenomenon also that has been going on is CTV to mobile retargeting. So what we can do is that we can expose the household with the frequency of, say, maybe six. We showcase the household the ad six times, and then also retarget the same user or the same IP household on mobile. So those are ways for you to then reach out to the exact demo after exposing the ad on CTV with a slightly more definite communication. So if we're showing an ad of a car, we can have a mobile communication that says test drive now, or
Hmm.
book a test drive, or take a virtual tour, something like that.
Right. Right. Thanks. We have a question from Adit, which says, "Is family viewing still on when we have had households with multiple TVs?"
So yeah, I mean, that's a very tricky one to answer. But family viewing, if we go back to our own consumption, is definitely on, and that is what a lot of advertisers are also going towards. While there are specific communications targeted towards individuals, but for that, mobile really works well. But CTV does solve for a lot of family viewing um, adoption. Yeah.
Right. Great. Do we have any more questions? Please feel free to raise your hand or switch on your camera and feel free to ask Rushabh. We're all
Yeah.
ears. We can take a few more questions for the next couple of minutes before I.
CTV versus set-top box viewing. Right now, the number is 37% are cord nears and cord cutters completely, who've moved away from set-top boxes. Otherwise, there are a lot of set-top boxes that are also powering a lot of connected TVs. So Geo TVs set-top boxes, or Airtel Extreme, or Tata Play are the ones that are, say, 60% and above. Yeah.
Hi, Priya. You have unmuted yourself. Would you like to ask your question? No, I
I
think.
guess we can move on to someone else.
Okay, no worries. Great. So, do we have any other questions? We have two
Yeah,
more.
hi. Suraj, I have one.
Yes.
Hi, Rushabh. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Quickly, in the earlier days, we used to say that there is no channel loyalty, but only program loyalty, right? In the days of the linear TV or whatever, there was no channel loyalty, but only program loyalty. So, what will be the parallel to this in the connected TV world?
So programs are still hosted on a lot of OTTs, right? So there
Correct.
can be OTT loyalty, because
Okay.
there would be Family Man that would be really liked by
On.
someone but is a Prime user. But there
Ah,
is also content which is on MX Player and Z5 that would appeal to some. Like someone really watches Shark Tank would not really have the loyalty towards maybe a Sony Live, but would also consume maybe Tarak Mehta on that, or also watch, Kaun Banega Crorepati on that.
So still content is the king, right?
Content is the king. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But the more the content, the more we get confused on where to place our ads.
Exactly. Always go back to choosing ice creams.
Okay.
Choice
Thank
paralysis,
you.
like we spoke. Yes.
Thank God I'm not in media planning.
The tool will help you, believe me.
Okay.
Great. We have one more question. Let's take this as our last question from Rajkumar.
Yeah.
Where does Frodo get its audience data from?
So it comes from DMP partnerships. Like I said, IOTA, Lotame, ACR through a lot of OEMs that share this data with us. Obviously, it's encrypted, but data management platforms give a certain sense of who is the right TG in the house. Whether it's a mother, whether it's someone that likes F1, whether it's someone that likes FIFA, whether it's someone that is salaried, whether it's in a certain income bracket, custom intent, affinity, interest, the kind of content that is being consumed. All of this data comes from data management platforms. Yeah.
Lovely. Great. So while we're at it, before I hand it over to Murugan to give the vote of thanks, there is a feedback survey form which is put out on the chat window. I'd request all of you here to just take a couple of minutes. It'll take about 2 minutes and
Sure.
share feedback, and we put that on into action for the following sessions, and that's how we improve our delivery for all of you here. And once again, thanks so much, Rushab, for your time. It was interesting chatting up and getting these questions answered as well. And we look forward to hosting you in another session of From the Advertising Club of Madras. I will let Murugan handle the vote of thanks from here.
Thakur, thank you for the wonderful session. It was very informative for everybody, and essentially thank all the participants in the audience session. It was a nice, wonderful session. I enjoyed because I am from the media selling and buying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to introduce, just mention that to you, Rushab. It's an irony, right? So Murugan here is the business head of Jaya TV, which is a very large media house here in Tamil Nadu, right?
And
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
and one of the initial
I
employees
really
of Sun
enjoyed it. It was
TV.
very informative to me.
Yeah,
And
and
one of the very, very first employees at Sun TV, Sun Network. He launched Radio Mirchi.
No,
So
not Radio Mirchi, Surya Network.
media. Oh, okay. Sorry, media veteran he is.
yes.
But I'm not old yet.
So
Anyway, thanks everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rushab. It was
Thank you,
wonderful to
everyone.
have you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Rushab.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
everyone. Thank you, everyone at Government Art Trichy College, MEPCO,
Yeah.
all of the other participants. I see Raina here, Solo, and our regulars that have always been, showing up. And thank you once again, Dr. Ajit, Divyadarshini, and all of you on this, session.
And Rushab, anytime you're in Chennai, please feel free to drop
For
into
sure,
the
for
Ad
sure.
Club Chennai. Yeah.
For sure. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. You're always
you.
welcome. Yeah.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening, everyone.
You too,
Thank you,
guys. Bye-bye.
guys. Thanks, Suraj.